Okay, this is Fireside Chat with Debbie Marks. And so today we're going to turn the tables a little bit, and I'm actually going to interview Debbie. So this is going to be fun because so many of you have been tapping in and listening to these interviews, and Debbie has always been the one doing the interviews. And I know some of you folks have been asking, well, what is it that Debbie actually does? And what is her story? So today we're going to turn it around on her just a tad, and we're going to find out about Debbie and her story. So my first question, Debbie, is how did your story start? What's the beginning for you?
Um, well, honestly, I'm going to go way back to um, when I first got married in 1974. So, yes, I've been married for 47 years. And I've always been a busy person wanting to know what other things there are in the world. I've always been curious, but I've never really had the mindset or the energy to look for it. I just kind of waited for it to come in front of me and tell me and show me, oh, hey, here I am, do this. And so that's kind of where that started. But um, I have so many things that I'm looking forward to doing that I know that my story that has happened so far is just the preface to the rest of my story.
Wow. Wow. 47 years, did you say? You've
Yes.
been married for 47 years. I was graduating from high school the year that you were getting married. Now, I followed right up though, because at 18, I got married. So in 75, I was getting married. And now Dan and I, we were only married for about 10 years and then got a divorce. And then I've been single ever since. But then I was getting married right out of high school. So, gosh, Debbie, what did you get married when you were 12? I mean, you can't be old enough to be married for 47 years. Well,
I appreciate that.
tell us about your family. And am I correct that I heard you say once that you had 9 grandchildren?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I have 9 grandchildren. The oldest is just turned 18.
Okay.
And and I might be wrong about that. She just turned 19. She graduated from high school. And my youngest is just turned 4. So, but here's the numbers. I have 8 girls and 1 boy. And
Oh
I'm
my, that
telling
poor
you,
guy.
don't, because the girls all love on him, even now. In fact, today is his birthday. He was
Oh
born on
my.
9/10/11, so you never forget his birthday.
I love that. I have a grandson that was born on 04/04/04.
Can't forget it.
So I can't forget his birthday either. So I get that. That's a great birthday though. 9, 10,
Yes, and
11.
yeah, 9/10/11. I do have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. And my son Ricky is the youngest. So, he kind of learned because his 3 sisters always stuck up for him and doted on him. So he does the same thing with his nieces and his nephew. He dotes on those girls like there's no tomorrow, which is really nice to see. He learned something.
I love
But
it.
and then my husband, his name is Rick, and we met in our senior year of high school. And I'll never forget it. I came back from Christmas vacation. My friend said, hey, come and join us. We have a euchre table and we need another partner. I said, well, okay, I don't know how to play it, but teach me. So I learned playing euchre, excuse me, with my high school friends, and that's how I met my husband.
How fun. I
Yeah.
love it. 47 years. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Debbie, I know that you have a passion for your business and your message is so important. What drives you in your business? And tell us a little bit about that and what it is that you do.
Well, I'm always passionate about helping others. And I guess that's kind of the most important thing. I always help somebody and help them out first before I do what I need to do for myself. And I know for a lot of people, well, they say, well, you shouldn't be like that, but that's the way I am. I always want to help somebody become better because I came from a very, very, I don't know. There's a good word for it. I can't think of it, but I came from a very meek background and didn't have much at all. And so I want to help others make something more of themselves. And with your help in helping me set up Meetup, I've learned this is a good start for me to get the word out to other people. And right off, I want to say, welcome, Raj, for being in our meeting today. It's very nice to see you, gentlemen. And please pass this on, because why we named it, or why I named it Fireside Chat, is I want this open to men and women, because men have just as much of a story as we do. And you know, that's very important to me. I want to hear people's other stories and help them succeed in their passion, in their goals. And yeah, I keep my hands in a lot of things. So but the thing is, 5 years ago, I was not like this. But now I see why why things happened 5 years ago that they did, because that would prepare me for now, if that makes sense. Yeah, it does. It's what's helping me get up every morning, except now I'm even having more reasons to get up earlier.
I get that. I get that. I was up this morning at 5 because I knew I was going to have a really busy day today, and I needed some of that downtime before I launched into my day. So I understand that you have lots of reasons to get up early. So with your business, can you tell us a little bit about I'll use the word structure of your business, but what type of business? You say you want to help people. In what way are you helping? How does your business help people?
Well, I work for one main company. That's my main passion. And I was someone that was, sickly, went to the doctors, things like that. And what I have found is that there are so many ways that that I started helping myself that I want to share with other people. And I don't talk about, my business here on Meetup, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea, but it is part of who I am and what I do and why I do it. And it's just very important to have people realize that there is more out there than what we see initially. And you really need to look outside the box. And that's what I enjoy doing. Now that I've found that as a path to get outside of my comfort zone, I find that it's much easier to talk to people. Does that sort of answer the question? Or is there more?
Well, and I guess my question are you not wanting to mention the company that you're affiliated with? Because since today we're talking about you, and folks kind of want to know what it is that drives you in your business, and why, and what it is that you're using or selling, or how does that work for you?
Okay. Well, 11 years ago, I was approached about joining Melaleuca.
Mhm.
I'd been in many, 11, as a matter of fact, MLMs. And they never satisfied me. But Melaleuca is a company that I found I am starting to now reach my goals that I initially set. Yeah, it took me 11 years, but so what? But the point is that I have been able to help many people create a healthier atmosphere in their home. I had been on antibiotics. My husband, every February, I knew it was February because he would get a respiratory illness that would last 3 months. And consequently now, great news, he doesn't suffer from that at all. But the point is that Melaleuca is truly an honest company.
Mhm.
It keeps, it's built on science, and the products are all natural. But the point is I don't sell anything. I don't take a credit card. I don't even pass out catalogs. But the point is, because I approach you, I share with you what it's done for me, what it possibly could do for you. And if you say no, not right now, hey, we're still going to be friends.
I get it. I get it. Because you're there to serve. You're there just to help someone if you have a product that would help them in their health and wellness journey.
That's exactly right. I mean, there's so many people out there with allergies, people that suffer from skin conditions,
Mm-hmm.
those that have pets, and you have to think about the fact that pets breathe the air on the floor, and if it's full of chemicals, it's not good for them. And so, like I said, it's products that we normally go out and buy every day in a brick and mortar store. But the thing is, I'm buying American made, and I'm buying products that are safe for not only me, my grandchildren, which are very important to me, but also for nature.
Mm-hmm.
And people just have to just be willing to take a look at this and understand and see it for themselves.
Well, and you know what? Today, with all of the immune issues and viruses, being healthy is so much more important, and boosting our immune system is so much more important. And I know that Melaleuca has products for that. And
Right.
so, yes, so perfect.
And
Debbie, that's
one other
great.
thing,
Yeah.
I just want to share the fact that they're always talking about vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc. I get those already in 2 supplements. I get the full daily amount with no extra additives. So I feel very good. I don't have to go out and research all that stuff in the store to find zinc, vitamin D, and vitamin C. So that's it.
I love it. I love it. So before moving on I want to talk about your hobbies and farming and all kinds of things. But before we move on, I do want to say for Melaleuca that they are all scientifically developed. So like you said, you don't have to do your homework because the scientist behind Melaleuca has done their homework. And so I think that's just a perfect a perfect match. So Debbie, thank you for that.
You're
That
welcome.
is very important. And again, I think that message is very important for you to share. Now, I understand that you have several hobbies that you enjoy. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Well, one thing that a lot of people don't know is that I used to have a quilting shop in Lancaster for
I
8 years.
that. I remember that from a previous conversation. I had forgotten about that.
Yes, it was called Prairie Rose Quilting House. And I had it open for 8 years. And I learned how to quilt. And I love sharing the projects that I've finished, what I've learned. And the other key thing is that my mom and I ran it together.
Oh,
Her and I, for 8 years, we bound, or what's that word? Bonded. Thank you. We bonded even more so. So yeah. And then hang on. Oh, the other thing I like to do is I I love photography. We've taken many trips out west when we've gone to a Melaleuca convention and visited the national parks and they've been popping up on my Facebook page as memories.
don't you love
And
that?
I love taking photos. And the other thing I do is I create fairy gardens. And the reason I do that is because I want to share a green ecosystem that fairies need to live in. And I don't make mine with dirt, which is what the traditional way is. I make it using the green turf. That way, and I always buy the perfect silk uh, leaves and floral arrangements and that. So a person that owns one of my gardens doesn't have to worry about watering it. Mm-hmm. It's and the plant isn't over going to grow the flower or the fairy garden, and they can just enjoy it. And I've made many, and one thing that I like to do is I peruse through Goodwills, yard sales, and I find the unique things, and right away I'll see it and I'll go, perfect. I know exactly how I'll use that. So I don't spend a lot of money creating my fairy gardens. And I have a basement that's not basement full, but a hobby room that has shelves of all the things that I'm going to be using. Because I never know what mood will strike me.
I have a couple of your little fairy gardens. They're the ones that you made in the little flower pots. And I have a couple of those in my parlor at the bed and breakfast. So when guests come in, oftentimes they'll comment on those.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, so those are there as a greeting for my guests. So I love that. I love that.
And the one other thing on that is that I encourage people that if you've gone on vacation and you bought these little bric-a-brac things and you don't know what to do with them, I would love to put it into a fairy garden and put those little things in there so that it's a way to use them and they're all together in one little spot. And I did that for my daughter when we went on a cruise. We went to Little French Keys and I took tons of pictures. And for Christmas that year, because her and I and the two grandkids fell in love with the place. And so I created a fairy garden, and it was the exact image of when I was out in the water looking back at the shoreline, what we saw, what was there. And to this day, it's still sitting very promptly in her living room. And I just remember it every time. So
what a great memory. That's perfect.
Yes.
That's better than a picture.
It is, really it is, because you can actually move it a lot easier.
Well, and it's actual items that came from that location.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes, I love that. Now, you've been farming for several years now. Can you share with us about the farming? And then I believe you created a blog to go with that.
Yes. Rick and I have been farming for, well, we've been in this house now for 10 years. So pretty much for 9 years, we've been farming, but each year it's grown. And I wanted to start creating organic foods because it's very expensive in the stores. And during the summer months, you have so much that you can choose from. And I want it available for other people. And I never thought about, blogging or talking about it or anything. I just did it by word of mouth. But this year I decided that because the garden, again, was bigger than we planned on, sort of, but the harvest has been unbelievable. And through you and learning about blogging, I decided that this was the best thing for me to do to get out to people on really how easy it is to grow,
Mm-hmm.
or to sow, grow, and harvest your food. And the enjoyment it is having it all winter long and into the next year. And inevitably, every year I have leftover. So I go into the next fall still using what I finished up from the previous summer harvest.
Isn't that wonderful? And it's organic, so that's even better. And you're not having to spend the money at, to go grocery shopping.
Well, by doing it organic, I'll tell a little secret here. I find the most interesting creatures on the plants. And it's a great way for me to see caterpillars. Now this year, they're totally brown, totally, completely brown. So they have no black on it. So I'm not exactly sure
I was going to say, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
What does the Farmer's Almanac say that means?
Yes. And I've also found the really long, long green. Um, uh, I find those on the tomato plants. But what struck me this year is that I'm finding the little caterpillars on a leaf that are starting their cocoon to become a butterfly. And at first I saw it, I go, well, what is this? But then once I started seeing more and more, I realized that's exactly what that is. So having a garden, like I said, without chemicals, without any bad stuff in there, it's a great place to see strange things.
I love that. I love that. I told Mark I wanted to have a butterfly garden next year. I wanted to plant a lot of milkweed and try to attract the butterflies there.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
yeah, I love it. I love that. So is everything you're growing organic? I mean, is that been your decision?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It has been that way since we started. But I never realized the significance of it for others besides us. And when I realized, there are a lot of people out there, especially now, wanting whole foods, organic, chemical free, however you want to put it. And they're not afraid to buy it. They're not afraid to spend the money for it, which shows me that I can offer people a better price for the food. And I offer it to them. I deliver to everyone, and free delivery. And I want people to realize that there's more to life in having to do without. Now you can have and enjoy and not have to worry about things. Because I see people drinking Gatorade and I cringe, because these people do not have any idea what is in that stuff. And so that's what I mean. I have such a freedom here to do this.
And
And
Debbie,
this,
yeah,
go
having
ahead.
an organic farm just is right in line with your Melaleuca, with being chemical free and going green, and then the fairy gardens. It just all ties in together so well.
Yeah, it
Yes,
does.
I just love everything about it. Now, before the pandemic hit, you were involved with the local group to help those families with members that were dealing with dementia. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, Amy Bean
Mhm.
here in Ohio, or in Lancaster, I met her through a Women for Women group.
Okay.
And we started talking, and what created it to be so interesting was that the previous December, in 2014, my mom passed away from vascular dementia.
Oh, I'm sorry, Debbie.
Thank you. She was in a nursing home, but I was her caregiver, and I was always with her, and I knew what was going on, but families don't understand. And when I met her, I said, I gotta help, because I don't want people to go through the same struggles as I did, and my family members calling me saying, oh, she's wacky, crazy, and it was like, no, she's not. But Amy handles, she is noted in Ohio as the dementia whisperer. And you can find her on Facebook. Right now, she's also has a healthcare facility here in Lancaster, where she helps with sending nurses into homes to help patients. And she's worked with the fire company, or firemen, to create a patch so that if the first aid is called to a home where it's got a dementia patient or a family member, there's a symbol on the door that will make them aware that this is the patient that they're coming to see, so they take extra precautions. And
good
this
to
is
know. This is that I had no idea.
Yes.
I was part of that also.
Yes, Sally is, because that was after you lost John.
But she was the home helper that came out to do the intake from Home Helpers for John. That's how I met Amy.
That's right.
Very nice. Yeah. Good to know. Wow. This is great information.
She's a great, I'm sorry, Sally, what?
Well, I hate to, since it's just the three of us.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Have you ever thought of having her on this program?
No, I didn't. Good thought.
Yes, a very good thought.
She's on the top of my list. She will be on the top of my list. I think that's a great idea. Yes, Amy is a great person. She used to, before the pandemic hit, she would have meetings once a month for the family members, and where they could come and talk about their concerns. And she wouldn't be a doctor. She's not a doctor, but she would help them understand, help them or give them a path, say, you need to go here to assist you with what your problem is. And she's very knowledgeable. And she's become certified in many different things. So I highly recommend it for those that are going to be listening to this recording. If you're dealing with this, look her up on Facebook. It's Amy Beam.
Okay, does she spell her last name Beam?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I put that in the chat as well. And Debbie, how can folks connect with you to learn more about either the Melaleuca, the farming, the blog, the fairy gardens, all of those wonderful things?
Well, on Facebook, I have a group page called Go Green with Debbie Marks.
Okay.
Now that one is pertaining to, the ecosystem, things for health and wellness. And I do put in some posts from Melaleuca itself.
Okay.
And then I also have Tales from a Fairy Garden.
Okay.
That is another group page where people can come in and learn about fairies.
Okay.
And then also I do have a page on Facebook called Debbie's Organic Homestead.
Okay.
That's where I am putting all information of all my produce, and I am now starting, which I haven't posted them yet, what I'm doing with my produce as I put it up. Everything from doing tomatoes, and I'm going to actually put in the ingredients in the bags, gallon bags, and make my chili already, so that all I have to do is take it out of the freezer and pop it in a pot, and it's good to go. So I'm going to be doing meals with my produce as I'm putting it up also.
I love that. And you know what? I am a big crock pot cooker, so that would be perfect if I could just put it right in the crock pot.
Yes. Well, I got the idea because I follow Family Freezer on Facebook. She does the freezer meals.
Okay.
And then I thought, well, why? I'm going to do the meals because I find that I want to be able to have the time to do other things and just take a meal out of the freezer, put it in the crock pot. You can even put it into a Instapot.
Okay.
And then you can also put it into a pot on the stove. And it has everything in it, including the meat. So you don't have to worry about anything. And
I love that.
I learned so much from watching her, and she includes the recipes in that. I'm not going to take away from what she does, but I'm incorporating it into just what I have. So, yeah, when I get, and the blog is called Debbie's Organic Homesteading also.
Now, I have a couple of pointers. If you just get your little tripod up there on the counter and pop your phone in there and record yourself doing some of that stuff, you'd have tons of content.
You're right. And every time I start, then I think about doing that, and it's like, my hands are gooey or whatever. But yeah, no, I got to be ahead of myself.
Even if you didn't do the whole thing, even if you just showed your ingredients and said, today this is what I'm going to do, and just do a little tutorial on it, and then turn your phone off and go do what you're doing, you'd have tons of content. And it would be stuff that folks would really start gravitating and watching.
Yeah, you're right. And besides doing chili, I'm going to be putting together vegetable soups.
Okay.
With this, and then also like chicken soup, and but there's so much you can do with food.
Oh my, throw a little simple salad on the side and you've got a meal.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So
Thanks.
anyway, any questions? Sally, do you have any questions for Debbie? This has been great. I've learned more about Debbie, and I have known Debbie for a long time. And so I've learned stuff today. This
I thought I've known Debbie longer than you have, Kathy.
okay. Okay.
Don't you think, Debbie?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, because I moved back here in 2006 from Charlotte, North Carolina, and moved back here, right back to Lancaster.
Debbie, where
Well,
did
we
you and I
met.
first meet? I think you and I first met probably at a Women for Women, excuse me, meetup. And because I already knew you before I saw you in Columbus that day, at the deck when we were there at Carrie's thing, I already knew you before that, because when I saw you, I was like, oh, there's Debbie. So I already knew who
Yeah.
you were. So I'm thinking we had met at a Women for Women meetup, I think.
Yeah,
Debbie and
well,
I met at a Lancaster Professional Women's.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And Kathy, I met you through Women of Winchester, or whatever
Okay.
that was called
Okay.
back then.
The WOW group. Okay.
The
I
WOW
knew it was,
group.
I knew it was
Yes,
one of the meetups was how we met. So
yes.
perfect. I'm just so excited for everything that you're doing, and how everything is. You have such clarity on what your message is, and your message is so important. So
Well, I wanted to mention one other thing, if that's okay.
sure, go ahead.
Okay. I'm writing a book.
Oh, that's
Right.
right. You are. Tell us about your book.
Well, many years ago, well, 5 years ago, Kathy and I started doing Day Job to Dream Job. And we were talking about, writing our book and that. And the title immediately came to me, and it's called, It Started with a Daydream. And this daydream was something that I had many years ago when my kids were younger. And I had a daycare in my home besides my 4 kids. And I had a daydream one day where I was getting up in the morning, starting my day, and got everybody off. I'll shorten the version. And I stopped, looked at myself in the mirror, and I was in my suit and I had my briefcase. I got in the car, and the gist was I got to where I was going to speak. I had a group of women when I opened the door that filled an auditorium where I was going to speak about my book. So ever since then, it's been in the back of my mind, but this year and last year I've put more to it. And my book is basically talking about my life, what my personal life has been like, and that how the life that I lived has brought me to the point of where I am at now, an entrepreneur with a future. And that there are so many women out there. I want them to read the story, see themselves, and understand that they can have a life. And my life is not pretty. I won't claim that it was. It wasn't all bed of roses. And that's why I want to write this book. I want people to understand there is more to life, and that it doesn't matter where you come from, what you've gone through. And we all have a story about what our past has been like. And so I'm just going to put it on paper. I want to put it on paper, put it in a book, and share it with whoever wants to read it. And I'm looking forward to the day that I actually will fulfill that daydream and walk into a room with women wanting to hear about my book and my life.
I don't doubt that that is going to happen. Debbie, in writing your book, how far back did you start? I mean, as far as in your life story, how far back did you go? That's the beginning of your book.
The beginning of my book basically shares what where I was. I was a Navy baby,
Okay.
and so having to understand who my parents were, what they were doing, where I was when I was born, and then bringing them forward.
Okay.
And there's I'm going to say the key pivotal point is that I have memory from when I was 5 years old.
Okay. So you started way back. Now,
Yeah.
we, like you said, we all have a story, and we all have had some painful moments. When you're writing these moments, are you having to go back in and kind of relive that emotion to get it down on paper?
Yes.
So you're getting somewhat emotional with the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the key. I can get an emotional. I can feel the feelings, but I know that it's then and that it's not now. And that's very important for a lot of people to realize.
And a lot of authors who have written their story have said the same thing. They said it's very painful to kind of go back and relive, if you will, some of those moments, but that it's also very healing because they can kind of finally, put it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm just wondering the process there. Now, do you have a planned date of publication, or are you just in the writing phase so far?
No, I'm in the writing phase right now, but I realized that I needed to put a date to it. So my date right now is to have at least half of the book written by the end of the year.
Okay.
And then I want to carry it, and I'd like to have it finished by the end of next year. I'd like to share it with Igniting Souls Author Academy.
You know what, Debbie, if you can shorten up your publication time into September of next year, which is the deadline, you could actually put your book in the Author Academy Awards.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Because the conference is every October, and if you're finished up and published by the end of September, you actually can participate in the Author Academy Awards and even have your book on sale at the conference, in the conference bookstore.
Note to self. Very good. Thank you.
So that might be a nice way to have a deadline too.
It really is. And yeah, that's a better deadline than, because a whole year, that just seems like, oh well, I got 6 months, still, and you procrastinate. Yeah. So then you never get it done.
Yep, I get that. I understand that. Debbie, thank you so much for reminding me about your book. Yes, I love that. I remember very well. I remember when we went through that program together that you and I, help me with my memory. Did we meet up every Friday?
Yes, we did.
It was every Friday. I knew it was a
Friday or Monday. Yeah.
Anyhow, we met up once a week. Debbie drove over to my house. We got out our computers. We got out our books. Debbie had printed off the online material and actually made 2 notebooks. I still have my notebook. It's like this thick, and it, it's got the day job to dream job on it. And Debbie and I went through each of those chapters like we were in college. We read the chapter. We did the homework. We faithfully went through that program. And when we came out the other end, we were ready. We were fired up. We were ready to go.
Well, and if my memory serves me, when we finished, you had the date when you were going to stop doing nails.
Yes. And boy, was that scary. Boy, was that scary, because that was my income. I was getting ready to say I'm hanging up the nail drill, Yeah, that was my
Exactly.
income. But I did it.
Yes, you did. And see where you are today.
Yep, I did it. So yeah, it was pretty scary. But we've all made those kind of choices over the years, and we've had to pivot. And of course, the last couple of years we've had to do even more pivoting, but it's worked for all of us. And it's good to see Sally on the call. Sally, love that you're here. And Debbie, I'm just so proud of everything you've accomplished and where you're headed, and the fact that you're finally getting your book. Because if I remember, one of the things that you really wanted out of this book, not only to help folks, but you wanted to create a legacy. That seemed to be one of your big things, is that you wanted to create some sort of a legacy, something that you could leave behind to those beautiful grandchildren. And I think everything that you're doing, the Melaleuca business, the fairy gardens, the farming, the blog post, what you write there, that's published. That's going to be like a book as well, all of those blog posts. And then add your book to that, and that is definitely quite a legacy.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right. It is. I want a legacy for my grandchildren. I don't want to be, I want to be the fun grandma. Okay. But I want to be a little bit more than that. I want something that when I've gone, this is what my grandma did. This is what my mama did. And that's what I'm striving for. So
I get that. I'm kind of doing that with the bed and breakfast. One of the reasons that I was just a minute or two late signing on today was because the family where the son had actually grown up here, this was his childhood home. They're back in town for a funeral, no less. And so he brought the nieces over because they hadn't seen the house since before we bought it. And the nieces wanted to see what we had done with it, with the guest rooms and how we've, closed in the side porch, and we've added the pillars and the wrought iron fence and all of that. And the nieces wanted to see it. And so I felt like I hurried them a little bit, but I didn't want to skip that, because again, this home is somewhat of a legacy for them, because their grandparents. And so anyway, I just feel like we're kind of a caretaker of the property, and and that someday we'll pass it on as well. So I guess I was like you. I was so happy that I could show them that we have kept the integrity of their family home.
Yes.
And that just meant so much.
That's important.
Yeah, that meant so much to them. And you're making quite a home there, with you and Rick and the farm, and all the grandkids come and go. And I even homesteading, that being your homestead, you're creating quite a legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, because they like to come over and pick out of the garden and eat the food.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. Okay, any last comments, Debbie, that you want to share, and any questions from Sally?
It was very interesting, Debbie, to hear all that. I knew part of, of all the years we've known each other, I've known part of what you've done. And I have a fairy garden too, that you made it in a little, you were doing a demonstration, and it's in a little tea. Yeah.
So see, Debbie, your message is spreading a lot further than probably what you even realize.
I guess I forgot all about that.
Because when my guests come in and comment about the fairy garden, I tell them, my girlfriend Debbie Marks makes these. Well, they probably go home, and who knows? I mean, they're from other states, some of them from other countries. So who knows how many people know about your fairy gardens?
Well, the only thing I would say is to those that are going to listen to the recording, and your members, you've been a member, a lot of you have been members for years. And those of us that are new would really like to hear from you guys. You're important to this group. You started it, and I'd like to hear from you. Just drop me an email and let me know, what you're doing now. If you have any interest in being interviewed, and I'm really enjoying this interview stuff. So, and also, I would like to see more men joining us. I want them all to realize that they have stories as well as us females. They're just as important. And I want to thank you, Kathy, for interviewing me today, letting me share how I tick, and that I just love life, and I'm going to continue this for as long as I can breathe.
I love it. I love it. Debbie, what is your email account? You ask folks to send you an email. Where could they send that?
Debbie, DEBBIE my name, 54 @yahoo.com. I answer to Deborah, but I prefer Debbie because Deborah always makes me feel like I'm in trouble. So
I love that.
I have said that all my life.
I love it. Debbie, thank you so much for doing this today. I really appreciate hearing more about you and your story and what you're up to. And I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. I've enjoyed this today. Really have.
Okay, perfect. Well, with that, we're going to go and we will see everyone next month.
Okay, great.
October.
Hey.
It will be October. Oh.
Oh, yes. But you know what? I love fall weather. I love it.
Oh, I do too. I do too.
Yes.
Yes.
So you're just going to stop the recording now?
I will.
Okay.
Okay.